your microeconomics, right? Moving on to the topic, first of all we shall understand the meaning of the term market, what a market means. Many of you would define a market as a place where the goods are sold or where the services are sold, right? But technically market is a system, don't call it a place. Obviously a place is required for a market to be established, but market is necessarily a system which brings potential buyers and potential sellers into close contact for purchase or sale of a commodity. A commodity may be a good or a service, right? See, all these words which I have written, they symbolize the characteristic of a market. First of all, it is a system by which potential buyer, potential means having the ability, anybody having the ability to buy, and potential seller, anybody having the ability to sell, come into close contact in order to sell or purchase the commodity. So when you have to define the market, you can define it as simply as a system which brings buyer and potential seller into close contact to buy or sell a commodity. Then when we talk about buyer and seller, okay, these are the two most important components of any market, and obviously the commodity for which they are dealing. Now after understanding the meaning of the market, like for example, this market can be created even sitting at home, okay, online shopping, even some of you watching this video online, okay, so this is also a market, a service is being sold and a service is being bought. Now we come to the discussion of the forms of market. Form simply means the types or the structures of the market. Okay, how many types of market are there? See, when we are comparing the market structures, there are certain characteristics on which we compare them. Like for example, if I have to compare two students, suppose student A and student B, I can compare them on various parameters, like for say example academic, their performance in the academics, sports, behavior, discipline. Okay, so some characteristics might be there, might not be there. Okay, like this I can compare two students. Similarly, for comparing two markets, I have certain, these are the parameters or characteristics on the basis of which I am comparing two students. Now similarly, the markets can also be compared on the basis of certain parameters. To understand the forms of market in a better way, you first need to know that what are the parameters on which the market can be differentiated. Parameters to compare the markets, or these are the characteristics which may be different in different forms of market. First is the number of buyers and sellers. Means when we are looking at any market, you have to look for the number of buyers and sellers, then the type of product, then entry and exit, control over price, knowledge about the market. Okay, so it means that these are the basic characteristics, basic parameters on the basis of which I can differentiate between various given markets. Number of buyers, you can simply understand what it means, type of the product which they are offering, then entry and exit, is it possible in that particular market, control over the price, and knowledge about the market. Now on the basis of these we will discuss the various forms of market. There are 4 forms of market that we have to study, or we can say there are 4 types of market that we have to study. First is perfect competition or perfect market. Second is monopoly. Third is monopolistic. And fourth is oligopoly. Okay, these are the various market structures that we have to study. There is one more market structure, monopsony, and maybe some of the books have the discussion about monopsony also. We'll discuss that also. Now we'll compare all these markets on the basis of the same parameters: number of buyers, type of product, knowledge, okay, entry, exit. First we'll move on to the perfect market. And we also have to remember that when we are discussing a particular feature, the feature is no doubt important, but more important is its implication, right? We will discuss in detail what implication means. Simply you can understand implication is a result or outcome of that particular feature, or the presence of that particular feature gives what characteristic to the market. First of all, we will talk about the basic meaning of the perfect competition or perfect market. See, perfect market is a market structure characterized by large number of sellers and buyers, selling homogeneous products with no degree of control over price. Or we can call it as price taker. These are the important words that the definition of perfect market contains. Or you can simply say that this is the structure of the perfect market, where there are large number of buyers and sellers selling homogeneous goods. We'll talk about it in detail, what are homogeneous goods, with no degree of control over the price, or they are also called as price taker firms. Okay, here individual firm doesn't have any control over the price. And you must understand the two terms, industry and firm. See, industry is a group of firms. Means all the firms added together form an industry, right? Suppose you say automobile industry, so all the firms like Maruti, Hyundai, Honda, Mahindra, whatever firms are producing automobiles in your economy, they all will be totaled up, and that will be the automobile industry. So here individual seller or individual firm has no control over the price. The industry will decide the price as a whole. Every firm has to follow the same price. That is why they are known as the price taker. If you want to define it, you will define it as it is a market structure where there are large number of buyers and sellers selling homogeneous goods with no degree of control over price, or they are the price takers. Now we will study the features of the perfect market, and remember, more than the feature, its implication is important. And the features will now again be based on the same parameters. What is the feature of perfect market, or you can call it as perfect competition even? No issues in the two words. The first feature is large number of sellers and buyers. See, here we are talking about the buyer also, but in the later markets we will talk only from the point of view of the sellers. Here they are infinite sellers and infinite buyers. It simply means that there are, say suppose 100 crore firms in an industry altogether. Large number, infinite. Similarly, infinite buyers. Or you can say demand is perfectly elastic. Now see, if you talk about one firm, individually its share is the share of individual firm is almost negligible. Negligible means almost zero. Doesn't have any control over the market because there are large number of firms, too many firms. So what happens? This firm is simply a price taker. Say out of this, say 1 lakh or 10 lakh people say we will not open the shop, we want the price to be increased. doesn't affect the market, right? Nobody has control over the price or over the supply. So that's why we say that implication of this feature in the perfect competition is that firm is a price taker. Firm cannot influence the price of the commodity. You may be asked to explain the implication of this particular feature. So, and remember the question will be based on the implication and not directly on the feature. Means you will never be asked that explain the large number of buyer and seller function of the feature of the perfect competition. You will be asked that what is the implication of large number of buyers and sellers under the perfect competition, right? So the implication is that individually the firm is a price taker. It cannot influence the price of the commodity because its share in the market is almost negligible, almost zero. But it can sell any amount at the given price. Why? Because buyers are also infinite, perfectly elastic demand. As there are too many sellers, similarly there are too many buyers. So in the implication you need to mention both the things, that the firm will be a price taker due to the negligible share, and also it can sell any amount at the given price, right? So if we draw the demand curve of this particular market, you also need to draw the curve which shows you the perfectly elastic demand. And remember, we have already done that the demand curve and the marginal revenue curve and the price line, they all are same in the perfect competition, right? So this is the sales of the suppose the price is 10, the firm produces say 100 units, they will be sold. Next day it produces